This movie review for Octopussy has spoilers. Alright everyone, we are just over halfway through the 24 movies, counting down to the latest James Bond movie, No Time to Die. So, for week 13 of the James Bond movie marathon, I saw the movie Octopussy. My rating for Octopussy is a 3 out of 5, and here's why. Octopussy, originally released in 1983, it is directed by John Glenn. It stars Roger Moore as his 6th time playing the role of James Bond. It also stars Maud Adams, who this is her 2nd time appearing in a James Bond film. It also stars Luis Jordan, Vijay Amritraj, Steve Burkhoff, and Kabir Bedi. Another casting note, in For Your Eyes Only, we did not see M, who is played by Bernard Lee. Unfortunately, in 1981, Bernard Lee passed away. So there was no M, it was the Ministry of Defense, and I forgot who else. But in Octopussy, they did have an M. This M in Octopussy is played by Robert Brown. Robert Brown also played the role of Admiral Hargraves in The Spy Who Loved Me. So they didn't really notate it in the movie, but you would assume that he took over the role of M. It started with a prologue. This prologue is a story in it of itself. It doesn't connect to the main story of Octopussy, which was really cool and unique to watch. It was like a short film of the tail end of a James Bond mission. There was a really cool stunt in the prologue where we see an airplane fly through an aircraft hangar. With the title credit sequence, it was an interesting title credit sequence. The sequence was pretty unique with the use of lasers. The song by Rita Coolidge called All Time High is another song that is not the title of the movie. In my opinion, I did not like the song, and I did not like the title credit sequence as well. Don't get me wrong, the song is good by Rita Coolidge. It's a very elegant song, it's just that it felt awkward in regards to a Bond film, especially with its style with the production of the song. James Bond's mission would become to investigate the mysterious murder of 009, as well as this Fabergé egg, which was actually fake. After investigations, after an auction, the Fabergé egg would lead him to India to follow Kamal Khan, the buyer of the real Fabergé egg from an auction. In Delhi, India, James Bond would meet his contacts. One of the notable contacts is Vijay, who Vijay is actually a famous tennis player from India. During a tuk-tuk chase through Delhi with Vijay and James Bond, what was funny is that they really utilized Vijay's real-life professional tennis playing in effect with the action sequences. We see him use a tennis racket attacking the enemies. There were some great funny action sequences. Once again, with these Roger Moore movies, they become a little bit wacky at times, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. I mean, yeah, some of the action is over the top in this, but bearable over what Moonraker did. In Octopussy, this movie had 2 villains. The other villain is General Orlov. In the beginning, we see Orlov speak to fellow generals of the Soviet army along with General Gogol. General Orlov would explain his plan to dominate the West and make the Soviets a powerful army and force, where General Gogol and the rest of the generals would despise his thirst for power. As the movie goes on, it does connect between General Orlov and Kamal Khan. And then a 3rd player enters the fold in James Bond's mission, and that is Octopussy herself. She lives on an island fortress in India where she has a whole bunch of women that she has grown and trained to be her army, and as well as circus acts. We find out Octopussy owns a circus that travels around the world. We found out in the story that Kamal Khan and General Orlov are working together. We see that Kamal Khan was using Octopussy's circus to help General Orlov get an atomic bomb over to the western side of Germany to attack a US American base. And the payoff for Kamal Khan is the forgery of these actual pieces of jewelry, where he would resell these fake jewelry pieces and keep the real ones for himself, thus getting money and still having the original pieces. There they would double cross Octopussy and her people that work for her. From explaining the story of Octopussy, it actually is really good. It was in-depth and complex, yet it's not convoluted. You get everything what was going on and the intentions of the villain. The story brought us to India for the first time in a James Bond film, as well as it brought us to East Germany and West Germany. There's an exciting final action scene between James Bond and Kamal Khan and his henchman Gobinda, where they were escaping on a plane and James Bond had to grab onto that plane while it was taking off. All the acting in this movie wasn't bad. I mean, the directing is pretty typical. This James Bond movie, again, didn't necessarily step up in the action, but was decent enough to be exciting and fun. Like I mentioned, the title credit sequence and the title song for Octopussy wasn't my favorite, but the movie overall is just fun. Although with this movie, it really shows Roger Moore's age as he's getting older. Him performing some of these action sequences seems slower in comparison to his earlier films. But we'll see Roger Moore one more time for next week's movie, which is A View to a Kill, which is the 14th movie of the franchise for week 14 of this weekly movie marathon. That's the end of the review. Make sure to like this video, comment down below what you thought of Octopussy. Octopussy is an interesting title, by the way. Make sure to subscribe to the Spellgo YouTube channel if you haven't, and thank you for watching.